Estella, it's now 5:13. We have a quorum. Would you please open the meeting?
Yes, sir. Notice of a public meeting of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville pursuant to Chapter 551, Title 5 of the Texas Government Code, the Texas Open Meetings Act. Notice is hereby given that the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, in accordance with Article 5, Section 12 of the Charter of said city, will convene an executive session and a regular meeting on Tuesday, March the 6th, 2012, at 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. in the Commission Chambers on the second floor of the Brownsville City Hall, located at 1001 East Elizabeth Street. Executive session, item A, discussion pursuant to section 551.087 of the Texas Government Code regarding economic development. Item B, discussion pursuant to section 551.072 of the Texas Government Code regarding possible purchase of real property. Item C, discussion pursuant to section 551.087 of the Texas Government Code regarding economic development. And item D, attorney consultation pursuant to section 551.0711 of the Texas Government Code in connection with litigation styled and numbered BFFA versus Brownsville, cause number 2011-DCL-5738-E in the 357th Judicial District Court.
Do I hear a motion?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. It's 12, so we have a quorum. I'm going to call the meeting to order, the regular meeting.
Pledge of Allegiance.
Please stand. Pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Let's pray. Father God, we thank you so much for this nation we're blessed to live in. We thank you for our system of government. Lord, we ask you to lead and guide each of the candidates that are running for office right now in our community. Help each of them to run their campaigns in a way that keep our community united and not divide. And Lord, for this meeting tonight, I ask you to give each of our leaders before us wisdom. Help them to see the future effects of each decision they make. Lead and guide each of us in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Action on items discussed in executive session. Item A, consideration and action on item discussed in executive session.
Mayor, I move on item A to have Larry Brown continue as discussed in executive session.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Item B, discussion and action regarding possible purchase of real property as discussed in executive session.
Mayor, I move to acknowledge and to advise staff to continue as discussed in executive session. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Mayor's report.
Okay, I'll make it short and sweet, but I wanted to extend my sincere thanks to all the employees of the city of Brownsville for making this a wonderful Char Days. We had a terrific event at the event center. I want to thank all the employees out there, all the employees that helped with the cleanup, the police that were in charge of Mr. Amigo. I personally was told by Mr. Amigo that, he was treated royally, and so for that I'm really grateful to the city of Brownsville and all of its employees. And I want to thank the commission for those wonderful outfits you all were wearing. You all made the Char Days really kind of special. The second thing I'd like to report upon is that, as some of you may have looked at the paper, yesterday we had a Texas South International Alliance meeting in Brownsville at the Cueto Building. This is an organization that I attended the first meeting in Corpus Christi about 3 or 4 months ago. It's looking into some of the possibilities of global international trade, first of all with China and then other countries. And we had a terrific meeting yesterday, and so I'm looking forward to seeing what possibilities we can work as a region versus just individually. Wherever we can kind of expand our possibilities, I think it's the best thing for the city of Brownsville. And the third thing I think that we need to, just for public information, in case you are riding the public transport, the buses have been moved over to the local buses have now been moved over to the multimodal facility. So they're no longer working at the old city hall. I think some people, I'm sure there was sufficient notice given throughout, but in case anybody utilizes those transportation mode, please go to the new multimodal. It's not only is it are the buses there, but it's a beautiful building, and Norma Samora and her troops are to be commended for an excellent job. And that concludes my report. Charlie, I think you're next.
Employee of the month.
Mayor, we'll either wait for him or cancel the next meeting. He's got delayed, he's not here, so.
Okay, that's good. Item number 3.
Consent agenda items A through E.
Move to approve consent agenda items.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Item 4, public hearing and action on first reading of ordinance number 2012-1554 to extend employee benefits to employees of the Brownsville Community Improvement Corporation.
Good morning. This was an item that was previously tabled at the
I
last
think it's
meeting.
afternoon. Go ahead.
Good afternoon. This was an item that was previously tabled. Basically, the only thing this ordinance does is that in the event the 4B decides to privatize certain administrative functions, it gives the city the ability to extend those services, those benefits to those employees, and in exchange would require the 4B to pay the city back for the value of providing those benefits to the employees. Very simple item. Are there any questions? I know we talked about this at the last meeting.
Mark, it's to my understanding that if any of these employees have a catastrophic illness or an accident, that won't affect our risk pool, our premiums for the city?
I mean, it would affect your premiums or risks. I mean, it wouldn't affect it any differently than it affects now. I mean, but it would require the 4B to reimburse the city for the costs. Okay, so the city wouldn't be out any additional dollars, if that's the question.
Okay, it's just a simple matter of reimbursement is really what it all amounts to.
Exactly.
Do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Is there any
Second.
public hearing?
No.
Move to close public hearing?
Yeah, I'm sorry, it's public hearing. I have a motion to close public hearing. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, public hearing is closed. Any motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much, Mark.
Public comment period. Mr. Roberto. consideration and action to approve memorandum of understanding between the City of Brownsville and the Port of Brownsville on payment for construction and maintenance of a Welcome to Brownsville sign on State Highway 48.
Mayor, Commissioners, you ought to have a copy of the MOU as part of your agenda packet. There should have been pictures as part of the agenda packet, but didn't make it, but I understand that they have been supplied to you. Just briefly, the memorandum of understanding with the navigation district, it's an effort to split the cost of constructing and erecting the welcoming sign. If you have any technical questions, I have the architect here who could answer those for you, but we would urge that you pass this so we could move on.
Okay. Do I hear a motion?
Motion approved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, John.
Mayor, we have the Employee of the Month present. Would you like to continue with that?
That's fine.
Thank you, Mayor. Commissioners, please help me welcome the Employee of the Month for March, Jose Mario Lopez. Jose has been employed at the airport since October of 2008. His responsibilities are airport operations officer. He has been an asset to us. Obviously, he has learned much about the airport and the federal aviation regulations. He assists us a lot with that, keeps up with that, works with our employees on that, and does a great job. And basically, he's a tutor while he's working and handling a lot of the responsibilities. He handles internal and external customers very well. They all compliment him and makes our airport shine as far as our visitors, many visitors we have there that visit us on a daily basis. Tremendous attitude and abilities which he displays. We are very lucky to have him as Employee of the Month. He is also eligible for the Employee of the Year in December at our banquet. And of course, he receives a pin. I don't know if he was late or not, but we got him a watch. And of course, the plaque for the month of March in recognition of he being the Employee of the month of March. And thank you very much. And he's got a few words for us.
I just want to say thank you very much for being appreciated like this. Was not expected, to be honest with you, but it's nice for someone to actually give you a good pat in the back. But thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you for your good work. Appreciate it.
Item 7, consideration and action on resolution number 2012-025 to approve an amended board member appointment policy.
Are you going to address this, or do we?
Mark?
I didn't draft it.
Okay.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
Not a problem. Mayor, when we spoke last time on, and the reason I had asked for it to be pulled out of the agenda was simply to ask, the commission to allow for district representation to be
Correct.
respected during appointments. And along with the motion, I'll make that should any city commissioner choose to yield or to give, not to choose to appoint somebody to that seat because they don't have somebody that properly applied to it, that they can do so and it can be documented in the regular minutes. But in essence, I would like to see something to the lines of district representation being considered and being respected when appointing somebody to a board.
Commissioner, I totally agree with you, okay? I don't have any disagreement. And what I think, Mark, I don't know if you put any language or changed anything from the last time. I would suggest that we perhaps table this item for right now. But you need to have some language in there in my humble opinion, as to say that every district needs to be represented, and if in fact there is not a qualified candidate from that district who is available, then we can kind of look at an alternative. And if so, I mean, I'll be happy to do whichever way you want. I don't think we have any disagreement at all with the objective. I think we just didn't put it in the language, and I'm happy to. I would suggest that we table it and get Mark to get us some language that accommodates that particular request.
I can, Mayor, with all due respect, I did work with Estella on revising the appointment policy to reflect exactly what you just
Okay,
mentioned.
Did we change it? That's what.
She has she provided a
I
draft
believe
for
we
us.
provided a draft in the packet.
Yes, there is a draft in the packet. And Estella, do you mind going step by step on what some of the changes we discussed?
Okay, in section 2, there was added that the commission, during a posted public meeting, may only consider applicants whose applications are on file no less than 15 days prior to consideration for an appointment to a board or committee. And again, this is a draft. Regarding districting, each city commission district shall have commission representation on all boards as applicable. Any district commissioner may yield his or her appointment to another commissioner in the event that said district commissioner does not have qualified applicants for vacancies on a given board or committee. Application process applicable to mayoral appointments. The city secretary will submit all the applications to the mayor and commissioners for review. The mayor may announce the name of the appointee at a city commission meeting. Such a policy ensures that the commissioners and the public are informed of who was appointed by the mayor. In residency, the only thing was that we added the same shall apply as far as residents of City of Brownsville. The same shall apply to appointments of the Brownsville Community Improvement Corporation and the Greater Brownsville Incentives Corporation. I understand that for the Greater Brownsville Incentives Corporation that this may not apply, but it would apply to Brownsville Community Improvement Corporation. And then commissioners were also asking about criminal check as to when someone has within the past 10 years been convicted of any crime of moral turpitude, as to what that meant.
So clarification from legal counsel on what you consider moral turpitude, since it seems to be a rather vague term.
Traditionally, a moral turpitude is a criminal offense which involves prostitution, or perhaps.
Could you get the microphone closer?
I mean, moral turpitude would be conduct which would involve theft or perhaps prostitution.
I guess my question at this particular point was only, I tried to go through the city of Brownsville policy, and I guess my general way of doing things is if something was changed from the original, is that we redline it, so I could kind of see the difference, and I'm sorry, I apologize to the commission that I didn't see the changes. I apologize.
No problem. If you still needed more time, I would be happy to table until the next
I would
meeting.
like it, let me just make myself totally clear. I want every district represented in all the board appointments. The thing about it was like the idea that somehow it was someone's turn. You know, it's sort of it didn't sit the way I thought we could do it correctly or a different way. But I would appreciate if you guys would give me the courtesy of tabling this and let me read it, and then just let's make a couple of time to look at any suggestions I may have. I may go exactly with what you have at this point.
Okay. Just, I believe the two major items, changes on there were district representation and residency requirements. Those were the two main issues of concern for a number of the commissioners here.
And I had Allison look up that there's a residency requirement for 4B,
There is.
but there is not one for 4A.
That's correct.
Okay, and so,
I had one question. On the appointment number F up there, the appointments shall be made twice a year. Does that mean if there's a vacancy, we have to wait until that time? Or am I reading that wrong?
It also says the commission may fill any unexpired term with an appointment. from any, so I guess.
So
we
it's
could-
not, it's not restricted to just the twice a year?
Correct, and that's not one of the changes I believe we made. That it
Okay.
was pre-existing.
Yeah, no, and I forgot, that's what I'm saying, I'm gonna have to revisit this issue if the commission is willing to do that, but
I'd be happy
I
to.
moved a table to give adequate time for mayor and for legal to review.
I'll
all the
second.
copies.
okay, I appreciate it very much. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item number 8, consideration and action to acknowledge Allied Waste residential garbage rate increase by 4.67% as authorized by contract.
Honorable Mayor, members of the City Commission, we asked that this item be tabled and be placed for the 20th of this month.
Motion to table.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Mayor, can I make one comment on this?
Sure.
Just to reassure the public and not to be misguided by certain people's comments, these percentages happen on a yearly basis. They are merely placed on the agenda for information's sake. These are things that have to go through, they're just, like I said, they're placed on the agenda because, as a courtesy, I guess, so that the viewing public can know, but these are things that are standard to the contract that's already been approved.
Yeah, but we generally, the custom is that we bring it up and we,
Yes, sir.
and that's
So
good.
it always has to be an acknowledgement and not an approval? I mean, the commission can the commission reject a rate increase? Pete?
That's what they're given to as far as for their fuel costs, for their increases, and those types of things. Keep in mind also that without going into too many details into the contract with Allied Waste is one of the only providers that comes into our landfill, and aside from all the expenses, also pays us for the use of our landfill. So
The-
this is,
I guess to answer your question, this came before the City Commission about a year ago, 2 years ago, and there was a contract awarded, and some of the language in the contract specifies that there'll be an increase based on a CPI increase, and that's what this is. And this is, like Commissioner Longoria states, it's just an acknowledgement because the contract has already been approved, and to inform the public that there is an increase coming up in their next bill, which will be in April. But we will bring this item to you the 20th of March. And the reason why we're tabling is because there's a scale of CPI, and we're gonna be using a different one, which will probably be lower than this rate, by
I
the
was
way.
just going to ask, is that going to increase
It's gonna
or
be
lower
lower.
it?
No, the rates will be lower.
Be lower, I think.
Okay.
We're negotiating with them to see if we can reduce it as much as possible, and they're willing to work with us on that. And for that reason, we want to
So
table.
we'll bring it up.
Okay, that's fine, Pete. And Mark, if you can find me the difference between an acknowledgement and what that means legally, I've never been able to find it out. Okay, thank you.
Item
Number
9, consideration and action to require that all contracts with extension options receive city commission approval prior to entering into an extension of contract.
Commissioner Vasquez and myself had some concerns regarding contracts that come up for expiration, but yet have some sort of item within their contract that allows for extensions. Now, it is up in the air whether or not every single contract that is up for extension does come before the city commission for approval on that extension. So we just wanted to clarify and make it a point that we do wish to have a vote and require that contracts that are coming to an end and have an extension come before us. That way we have the opportunity to question if the company is doing a good job for the city, if there needs to be a review on the work performed on behalf of the city, rates, et cetera.
Okay. And just as a comment or side comment is, I think I talked to Mr. Luna sometime during the chart. We don't need a comment. I was just saying that I think it would be nice if you all set up a workshop with, some of the commission to kind of give us a bird's eye view as to some of the procedures as they go through it, and perhaps maybe supplement it to the point where questions don't come up, or there's a procedure that's followed and we might consider that. But I mean,
We did ask, actually, that we have a workshop set
Right.
up, but because there was too many items on this agenda, on today's agenda, I believe
We're
that
preparing for next
presentation
meeting.
is going to be
okay.
brought before the commission
Okay,
at the
good.
next
And-
meeting.
and
Okay,
we-
but this is still an action item which needs to be approved or disapproved. Do I hear a
Would you
motion?
want to table it pending the workshop?
Well, I think regardless of what the workshop comes, I think the workshop would be beneficial for us, informative,
yeah.
but we would.
Okay.
we would
Do I hear a
also-
motion for approval?
Motion to approve?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries. Number
Item-
10,
Item 10, consideration and action on resolution number 2012-020 of the City of Brownsville to authorize Mayor Antonio Martinez to enter into a joint development agreement with the Brownsville Housing Authority for the development of new decent housing and suitable environments for persons of low to moderate income.
Honorable Mayor and City Commission, through this resolution, the Brownsville Housing Authority and the City of Brownsville will join its efforts to assure that all of the plans that the City of Brownsville has for development of affordable housing, as well as the plans of the BHA, are adhered to, and to explore all funding scenarios to develop the most efficient, most affordable housing in the City of Brownsville. So this would be, through approval of this resolution, we hope that you support it and approve it, so we can start working on putting those projects that the Housing Authority has on its table to start working on those.
do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Ben.
Item 11, consideration and action on resolution number 2011-024 to authorize the renaming of University Boulevard to West University Boulevard from International Boulevard to Expressway 7783, and renaming East Avenue to East University Boulevard from Expressway 7783 to Elena Street.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. I'm here tonight to change the University Drive from East Avenue to West University, and also to change the East University and say, I have any questions on this changes up to Atlanta. On the West University, be up to Atlanta. On the East, it'll be to Atlanta. And as far as it'll go, perhaps in a couple of years, we might change it all the way through Tolipon. But
Is this
for
a
right,
recommendation, or is this something that was read out from the state?
This is at the request of the university due to their expansion and the fact that they have purchased properties for future expansion onto East Avenue up to Elena Street. They're
Will
requesting
they be
that.
using mailing for their soccer complex and the sports complex if they're?
Right, right. Yes, sir, that's part of their idea. They've purchased those properties for that idea.
I realize that, but my question is, are they gonna be having mailing, things that are gonna be mailed there?
All this has been posted, and there's been absolutely positively no opposition to this by any and all people that may reside or have businesses in that district. And Mr. Ben Lena from the university is here if you have specific questions relating to university.
I have a question. You said the request is coming from the university. Is it coming from the university president, or is it coming from the TSC board?
The university president, the university itself, University of Texas.
What happens, let me just fill the commission in, that, where that new property has been bought, it's been bought by University of Texas at Brownsville, and not by TSC, and that's why they have the, if you look at the university campus, the campus that's closest to the International Boulevard belongs to TSC, then there's a dividing line where the student union is, and some of the other buildings belong to University of Texas at Brownsville. Now, on Elizabeth Street or the other West University Boulevard, there's some properties that are intermingled between both the university and TSC. But the property that has been purchased, the new UTB property over there where East University Boulevard is, that was bought by UTB.
Okay.
Okay, so that's why TSC has no ownership.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that there was an agreement, if there was property on both sides,
Yeah,
and then
no.
there's an issue with the name.
This is purchased, and, you know, this was the purchase that was made for Mr. Galansky over the last 2 or 3 months.
Robert, in discussions we had had in the past, since East Loop is gonna be going through what is right now University Boulevard, and particularly on East Avenue, I had assumed, and through discussions we had had in the past, that it was gonna be, that section was gonna be East Loop. because of the loop that will be running around the city.
On the east loop, that was supposed to be, as far as I know, it still will be,
Mhm.
but it could, the distance for the distance right now for the university, they can enter like the east loop to enter University Boulevard. It's not unusual to have a street, abutting a street, it comes into from the expressway and you enter East Avenue. You can do that. As far as I know, the east loop will continue there. Yes, it can, but it also it can butt into University Drive, University Boulevard.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Item 12, consideration and action to award a contract for HVAC control replacement and lighting
Thank you.
upgrades
Thank you.
for City Hall.
Good evening, Mayor, City Commissioners. At the request of the Grants Department Administrator Stephanie Reyes, the Purchasing and Contracting Services Department solicited requests for proposals for a contract for an HVAC control replacement and lighting upgrades for City Hall for this building. It is the intent of the City of Brownsville to hire a contractor to provide an upgrade to the existing lighting fixtures and for the replacement of the obsolete heating and ventilation air conditioning or HVAC system for controls for City Hall. The legal advertisement appeared in the Brownsville Herald 2 times, and it was posted on the website. Total of 5 certified AC contractors on the vendors list receive a fax invitation to participate. 2 acknowledgements were consequently received. 2 pre-proposal meetings were conducted on October the 19th and October the 27th. Total of 4 contractors were represented at the meeting. Addendums were issued to respond to questions and a request to extend the proposal deadline. Sealed proposals were acknowledged for this subject project on December the 19th, 2012. I'm sorry, 2011. There's an error in there. A total of 4 proposals were received and acknowledged by the Purchasing and Department. On January the 6th, the Evaluation Review Committee, composed of the people on the, I guess it's on the next page. There's 4 Evaluation Committee members. This committee got together to review the proposals submitted and requested clarifications on the lighting counts submitted by the contractors. So on January the 30th, 2012, the Evaluation Committee members reconvene and review the updated prices submitted by the contractors and proceed to score the 4 firms. On February the 14th, the Evaluation Committee, along with the Purchasing Department, negotiated the best and final offer with the highest ranked firm. After negotiations were completed in a manner of saving money, the city has decided to split the agreement into 2 separate contracts with the prime contractor to save money. And this dual contract was approved by the Department of Energy. Okay, so we have the approval by them. On February the 16th, the Purchasing Department received the best and final offer, and that's what I'm presenting tonight. Recommendation is to award a contract for HVAC control replacement and lighting upgrades for City Hall to Train Incorporated out of San Antonio, Texas, as a prime contractor in the amount of $93,080, and to FSG Lighting as a lighting subcontractor out of San Antonio, Texas, for the amount of $52,000, for a total project amount of $145,080. Completion time for this project will be 120 consecutive calendar days. Funding for this project will be derived through the DOE ARA Federal Grant Account 156-7486-8366-08. Department of Grants Department, the Department of the Grants, Administration concurs with this recommendation. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions.
Would approve?
I have a question. Do we typically do these dual contracts?
Not necessarily. The thing is, Train Incorporated is a prime contractor, but to be able to save money on the bonding, we decided to split the controls from the lighting fixtures. The thing is, Trane as a prime, they do HVAC systems. This other vendor, FCS, is a subcontractor to Trane, and therefore they're gonna be doing the light fixtures. So it was cheaper
That's how
that
the advertisement went out? How did the advertising go out?
for both, for HVAC and lighting fixtures system upgrades.
No, the advertising contract, how did you advertise it? Was it advertised as separate or?
No, it was advertised as together, but the thing is, and I'm gonna be presenting this on the following meeting. When you have requests for proposals, the thing about proposals is that you can negotiate price, you can negotiate deliverables, you can negotiate components, you can negotiate everything, where on a sealed bid, there's no room for negotiations. So to answer your questions, it is allowable to negotiate, in this case also, splitting the contract with the prime contractor and the subcontractor to save money. And we got, if you read on the analysis, we got the okay from the Department of Energy, who's providing us with the funding. It's a federal grant.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor.
Second.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Excuse me.
Motion carries.
Item 13, consideration and action to award a term contract for multiple contractors for demolition services for the city of Brownsville.
This item was tabled last time, and I'm bringing it back. The only modification is that we have the primary contractor, secondary contractor, and tertiary contractor. What we have is the lowest overall cost. In this case, if you look at the tabulation sheet, we have the primary who's got most of the line items. It's can you go to the tab sheet real quick? Go to the next page. There you go. You gotta zoom in. If you look on the tab sheet, you have the primary and secondary on that particular page. What's in yellow is highlighted is the lowest cost per line item. So what we did is the recommendation is to award the term contract to multiple contractors for demolition services as follows. RLC Consulting Group of Brownsville, Texas, as the primary contractor at the stipulated prices on the tab sheet. Rudy Martinez Hauling of Brownsville, Texas, the secondary contractor at the stipulated prices on the tab sheet. And Decorative Concrete Designs of Brownsville, Texas, as the tertiary contractor for the stipulated prices. This is a contract that will be approved, if it's approved by City Commission, will start and shall expire March 31st of 2013 with the option to extend for 2 additional years. But now we're going to bring it back every year for the extensions.
I have some other items that are very different from when this was last brought before us at the last meeting.
Mhm.
At the last meeting and within our agenda, and you reaffirmed this, you said that 9 acknowledgements were received when you sent out the bid requests.
Yeah, no, there was a correction, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, on the last meeting, I made a correction on the analysis on number 2 on the project milestones. There was a typo on the previous meeting, and also on item number 1 on the acknowledgements. We went back and we look at the acknowledgements. The thing is, when we did the count, since there were a few addendums, my assistant helped me to count the acknowledgements that we have received electronically. So since the file doesn't have a name, we were doing the count like that. But that's why we fixed that typo together with the number 2, where it says that there were 5 contractors at the at the previous meeting. So there were a few typos in there
Okay,
on the
so you
analysis.
corrected the typo from 9 acknowledgements to 3 acknowledgements, and then now, instead of awarding 5 companies the contract, you've reduced it to 3 companies.
Yes, ma'am. The reason why is if you look at the tab sheet can you go to the next page? If you look on the bottom on that page, as well as the previous one, at the bottom, there's just a few prices or a few line items that we're hardly gonna be using. The reason why the first time I brought it up to 5 contractors is because purchasing I guess my main responsibility is to save taxpayers money. Okay, and according to Local Government Code, Chapter 252, it says that it should be awarded to the lowest responsible and responsive bidder, unless we use best value. In this case, we presented the award for the lowest bid. If you see on the tab sheet, every single line item that is highlighted in yellow represents the low responsible price per line item. But now that we look at the tab sheet, we found out that it's easier for the city, it's easier for purchasing to have only 3 contractors and have them as a primary, secondary, and tertiary without having to go through each line item.
What's the difference between the procedure that you're using and the base value?
Base value says that when you award a contract based on the low bid, if you use base value, you're not only awarding a contract to the lowest bid, but you can also, let me give you an example. If you have a bid that came in from a contractor that you don't have any experience with, and then you have the second lowest bid who you deal with in many construction cases, under the government code allows you to use base value not only based on the low bid, but also based on references, previous performance, previous and past performance. So not necessarily you have to approve the lowest bid if you specify that on the specs.
Okay, and was that specified in the specs?
I believe it was specified on this particular bid. We always use best value. We insert that on the language on the bid solicitations, because you never know, you might have a contractor.
But we're not going on the best value specs.
We're using the lowest cost, the lowest
Okay,
bid.
and why are we not using the best value specs? Because I would think that would safeguard us a little bit better if we use the best value, because you go back into their credentialings, their references, and their past performance with the city contracts. Is that correct?
Yes, if you look on your analysis on the agenda, I went back and I included references for all the contractors. It's part of your agenda. It includes references, a license. They need to comply with the asbestos abatement. They also listed all the equipment that they have. So to get back to answer your question on the qualifications, all of these contractors that submitted, they complied with the requirements on the bid specs.
Well, I'm a little concerned because we're changing the procedure, and that's why I asked for us to have the workshop, because of the procedures, and then it's apparent to me that we're changing
Well, no, we're not.
some of the procedures after the fact that we've already sent it out for the bids. That's a little unsettling to me, and for that reason, I would ask that we table this item until we get the workshop presented to us.
It's very interesting to me how we change
Well, actually,
our process after we've already made selections, and then we bring it back, and then the language is different, and there are different things. It's just,
if you look at the tab sheet, we have not changed, we have not modified anything. We're just going with the overall cost. Like I say, if you look on the analysis, it says levels shall be determined on a lowest overall cost basis.
okay, but we didn't do that the first time. Now we're doing that.
Well, like I mentioned it to the commission before, Our job is to award the contract to the lowest responsible bidders.
Well, we have to also make sure that we're not awarding contracts to the low responsive bidder, but that we're getting qualified contractors that are gonna do a good job, and that we're not gonna be spending our monies, our city monies, on contractors that are not gonna fulfill the terms of the job. And so that's my concern, that we need to make sure that these contractors are gonna fulfill
Yes.
their obligations and not leave us out of our money. And so for that reason, I would ask that we table it, Mayor, and we can have
Commissioner,
it.
I would yet to see a contractor submit, a proposal for the city and not go through. If you submit a proposal, you're gonna go through with it. Now, I know where this is headed, and you said you wanted your workshop. We have tabled. I would advise in the best possible way that you all try to make some sort of an appointment with Robert and come learn the process before the workshop, if we haven't had the workshop. But in other words, we go by lowest bid. That's the process. That's how this works.
But
We
it-
work
But is
on-
that fair to the taxpayers that they're getting?
You're getting the taxpayer a contract on the low possible bid is your responsibility, and that is what we're doing.
The fact that
You know-
you have so many changes from one meeting to the next is not a red flag for you? I don't understand that,
Commissioner,
Commissioner.
I don't want to go into open session with you and call you out as to why this is going on. And this is not a threat. I'm just saying, there's other motives that are going on here. There's other things that are going on.
Okay.
Please
I have
don't
no
deter.
motive.
Okay,
I have
okay.
no motive other
Okay,
than
could we
to-
have order, please? Commissioner Gowan?
I just wanted to say that
Yeah,
I
but
agree with
she's talking
Commissioner
about everything you
Vasquez
present.
by,
Just
for the
Every
virtue of the
item you
fact
present
that
is gonna be
last time,
placed.
I would enjoy hearing the workshop before making a decision.
Okay, we'll do one of two things. We can do what the commission wishes. There is a item number 13 that we can either vote up or down, or we can entertain a motion to table.
Move
And
to table.
Second.
all those in favor of tabling this item
Aye.
until after the workshop, I'm assuming?
Aye.
So it'll be tabled and the process is gonna stay the same?
Well, it'll be dependent on what the workshop, we
I-
come out on the workshop.
So it's gonna go through the whole
I think
process.
the motion before the commissioners right now is a table, and it is carried, if I understand that Estella, did we count votes? I think we have 4 votes to table this until the next time, so the motion to table carries, okay?
Nays?
I'm sorry.
Longoria?
Just asking who the names are.
No.
Commissioner Longoria, did you vote yes or no, or did you abstain?
I haven't gone, but I vote nay.
Nay?
Is
Yes, sir.
anybody else voting nay?
Nay, my question is.
Okay. Item number 14, this item will be tabled.
Okay.
Item 14, consideration and action to award a contract for architectural and engineering design services for a new parking garage for the Brownsville B Metro multimodal facility.
Thank you. I'm going to have Norma Zamora, representative of B Metro, to present this item.
Good afternoon. Well, I'm glad to finally be here on this exciting day for our department, for sure. At the request of B Metro Department, the Purchasing and Contracting Services Department solicited states of qualifications for the final phase of our project, which is the multi-level parking garage. It is the intent of the city to contract with an engineering and architectural firm to provide pre-designed, schematic design, construction documents, bidding and negotiating assistance, and contract administration services for the new multimodal parking garage. Two legal advertisement notices appeared in the Brownsville Herald in November of 2011. A total of 11 professional engineering firms were faxed an invitation to participate. 9 acknowledged the receiving and confirming to participate. On December 21st, 2011, 9 firms submitted requests for qualifications for engineering and architectural services for the new parking garage. An evaluation committee was formed and evaluated all proposals that were submitted and interviewed the top 3 firms. On March 1st, 2012, the Purchasing and Contracting Department received a proposal from the highest-ranking firm. The engineering and architectural fee is based on a rate of 10% of the project budget. Evaluation review members agreed on the fee of 10% of construction costs. As a result of the negotiation process, the recommended engineering and architectural firm and the B Metro Department have reached a satisfactory best and final offer. It is staff's recommendation that we consider an award, consideration and action to award a contract for architectural and engineering design services for the final stage of the multimodal terminal project for the new parking garage to Jacobs Engineering out of Dallas, Texas, for $408,184. The recommended firm will serve in the capacity of consulting engineers and architecture for pre-design, schematic design, construction documents, bidding and negotiating assistance, and construction administration. Funding for these services will be derived from federal grants, a local match, and a BDC loan.
I have a question. Is that right? Norma, this is for design, right? Correct?
Yes.
And so will we have an opportunity to have input in that design if we so choose?
Yes, we're going to follow the same process that we did for the multimodal terminal. We have pre-design meetings. We're going to have public hearings. We're going to go through the same process that we did for the multimodal terminal. Yes.
Okay.
Any other discussion?
Approved?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. And Norma, thank you for, this young lady moved the buses a lot quicker and Ender. Thank you for all your help and support. Your efforts are deeply appreciated, and your building is gorgeous. So looking
Thank you.
forward to working some more with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.